welcome to Discussions of Music, Healing, and Consciousness with your hosts Chris Noble and Bill Peratzman. On this podcast, Chris and I offer a spontaneous, ongoing conversation about how music is intertwined with healing and consciousness. We hope this podcast will cultivate your knowledge and curiosity, inspire your own study and practice of the musical and healing arts, and that your contribution to advancing world consciousness will be satisfying for you and transformative to those around you. Let's get started. Yes, music, dance. So today, Chris is going to take us back to the world of Sufi dancing.
Yes.
with song. So unlike Sufi dancing, maybe you're going to take us to the world of a concert where everybody's just like bumping and jiving in the aisles and singing and dancing around.
Well, we've talked about
this, man.
I don't know where I'm going to take you guys, but I'll take you on a journey.
Yeah, let's go on a journey.
Let's go on a journey. Let's start an adventure today. I wanted to share the story of really like a concert that I had on Friday. Just we're recording this less than a week after that concert, and really what it was me performing my dance music for honestly the first time in many years, which was a lovely push out of my comfort zone, which is always great. And anyone that is that does, let's say, anything in the performance arts sector knows when you've been a perfectionist for many years, and then you're coming at a show, trying to really approach it differently, but those old perfectionist things are coming up. Yep. That was a really great month of that. So all of that culminated to Friday, which was a beautiful event, and it was all dance music. And I've now started to do a lot more singing with my dance music, and it was just the coolest thing. I've done a lot of dance parties, but you're not singing a lot at the dance parties. And then I've done, a lot of other shows where there is more singing, but it's not necessarily a dance party. So this was one of the first times where I had both happening simultaneously quite a bit throughout the night. And as I was singing pretty uplifting songs lyrically as well, like very empowering lyrics, very self-loving lyrics, and the vibe at the end of the night, it was a small intimate show, 25 people. But at the end of the night, it felt so similar to how I have felt after amazing concerts where you're just leaving on that high, on that absolute. And I know I've performed at shows and I know what that high feels like. This was like a little different. This was that kind of next level of euphoric love, universal love, just the universe of love, just that emotion was like permeating through everyone. And I really feel that a big part of that was the combination of the somatics of dance and the therapeutic sort of frequency, vibrational release of singing combined together. So you're moving, while you dance, but then even while you're moving, you're also singing. So you're vibrating and you're pushing out all these frequencies. So we both know shaking, dancing, all that movement, really good for releasing stuck energy, emotions, things like that. Well, we also know, we've talked about this both on so many episodes about the power of sound as well. And so why wouldn't it be a twofold or maybe an exponential benefit when you combine the two together? And of course, you think about a lot of ancient cultures and tribes that practice this every day. And there's a reason for that. It shifts your consciousness and it shifts your being. And I think a lot of people certainly were commenting to me afterwards that it just, like, the way that they felt when they arrived versus when they left was night and day, like just complete transformation. And it's not tooting my own horn as far as the music goes, although I'm really proud of the performance and it was a great night. It was also just a really cool observation of just purely the power of dance, singing, community together, put all those fusions together, and then boom, you've got this just recipe for so many things, for universal love, but also bringing people together. Like, I felt the bond of everyone in the room. There were quite a few groups that did not know each other. And by the end, there was just this like cohesive bond. And that's the beauty. I mean, I think everyone who's gone to a concert with a band they love has felt that with like a random beside them singing the same lyrics, So it's that kind of an idea. But when you fuse it with dance and the movement, I did want to kind of talk a bit more about that today, and we can maybe open that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Because I'm curious about the dance, whether it's just free form or whether it's structured in any way. I'm curious about the genre of music that you use, like whether it was up tempo or down. Like when you say dance music, that covers a lot of ground. So
yes, you're right.
help us out with the details.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll add in another element that I always forget, and anyone that's watched the show before would likely know this now. But my music's also tuned at 432 hertz, so there's also that playing a role, which I do forget. 432 hertz is the love frequency, um, and it's just an incredible frequency. Even recently, I was realizing 432 is a derivative of the speed of sound, the speed of light, the distance from the planet Earth to the moon, the distance from planet Earth to the sun. It's all derivatives of 432. I mean, it's just like, okay. So anyway, there's that also going on. But back to the dance and the what happened on Friday. I think you're right. It's a good question to ask. So the genre I would say would be very like honestly pretty pop EDM, electronic dance music, pop style dance music, like
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's not avant-garde. It's definitely not down tempo. It's not like pure house or pure techno or ED. Like it is more like I'm usually singing on top of it, and if I'm not, it's like maybe chill dance, but still very like uplifting, upbeat, gets you moving. And even if it's a little slower, it still kind of keeps you going. And I had two friends guest vocal on a couple songs, and that adds a new energy as well. But they're all very dancey, but the tempo will vary. So it starts at maybe 100, around an 80 BPM,
Mhm.
and then it will ramp up to about 120. So there's it speeds up as the night progresses. But genre-wise, it's pretty basic poppy dance music, which is pretty much my intention was to make it quite accessible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the genre. Um,
That is really cool. So tell us about like what was happening on the dance floor.
yeah, it was really fun to watch. So it was very much a free flow. People were just dancing in every way, shape, and form that they felt.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was so fun. So one, guy has his shirt off and he's running around, and it was great. Like a really positive energy, just really hilarious too, and just letting everything out. And then my other friend, she was like doing, at some songs we'd be doing like some crazy hip shaking, almost like shamanic looking stuff. And then my other buddy on the complete opposite side is more like parody dancing and joke dancing and just being an idiot and a goofball. And it looks hilarious and really fun. I mean, you had every almost possible. There's some couple of people who are clearly like, well, at least hobbyist, if not professional dancers who are like really just good. And they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
all kinds of cool stuff, And then one had like a glow stick and was doing cool like poi glow stick stuff. I mean, you just had this beautiful array of every possible style of dance, which was really fun. And then the singing that would happen throughout like songs after song after song would just then people kind of stop the free flow dance. They all come together, sing the part, go back to the dance, come together, sing the part, go back to dance. And that oscillation was pretty fun.
Yeah. It must be. I mean, I have this image in my head now, right?
Yeah.
Of how it's all going down, and that's beautiful to me.
And like I get people to help build songs up with me too. Like with dance music, it's all about the rise and the fall, like the crescendo
Mhm.
or that drop, as they always call it, right? You build, you build, you build, and then boom, the beat comes in and you dance again, right? And
Yep.
so getting people to come into those builds, it is very much a psychedelic. Like there's a reason people like a lot of dance music on psychedelics, because the way dance music typically builds tension to then release that tension into the drop is quite satisfying on psychedelics especially. And so it was fun to build that tension with everyone and then bring in the dance drop. So it's just really cool. It's really fun to see, because I think with dance music it has been pigeonholed into a drug genre or into a drug culture,
Hmm.
which I have no problem with, to be honest. But it's just not my jam anymore. And I think for a lot of people, it's just really not. Like most people that come to my dance events, they're always pretty much sober events without being called a sober event, because I don't really care. But ultimately, it seems to attract a lot of people that really aren't there to do drugs anyway. They just want to dance. That is the drug essentially. And, I think that's nice to start to see how this is evolving out of that, let's just stay to the club, get super wasted, and feel super hungover the next day kind of culture.
Right. Right.
Now it's going to be like, well, let's just go do the thing we all love with dance, but maybe do it more holistically and maybe a bit more intentionally too. And I do invite people to set some intentions at the beginning of the night, even at the concert, stuff like that, right? So all those little extra little bits, I think, add on to the experience. And I know I'm not the only one doing that, and it's really nice to see more artists
For people
doing
who are
that.
listening, I've got such an interesting question here because I'm imagining myself and in a dance music environment, adding song, and it's so different from the typical scare quotes sound healing, like the gong bath or
Yeah.
the singing bowl thing. Can you contrast for us how the energy is different between the two?
Yeah, I mean, they're about as contrasting as you could possibly get. So you have the idea, and I love the contrast because I love running my meditation events and
Yeah,
doing.
because you play both, right?
Yeah, and I guess I like variety a lot, so it really tickles that, that bone, so to speak. Like it really does. It's exciting. So basically, yeah, the way I would approach the meditation workshops or events would be the opposite. People are lying down on yoga mats almost the entire time. We're focusing on breath. Then we're going into body scans. Then we're really through sound and through my vocals, bringing people into an extremely deep state of relaxation. Then a guided meditation, and then pulling them out at the end for whatever intention we had set at the beginning of that event. And although there's a similar kind of flow in the dance, it's more, instead of on the yoga mat, you're standing up, you're running around, you're bouncing around, you're dancing, you're much more physical. The music in the meditation is all atmospheric, there's no rhythm, there's hardly ever percussion unless it's like a gong or something like that, or a bowl. And again, it's really atmospheric, washed out, soothing, extremely soothing, warm tones, very, very, very soft feeling, right? The dance stuff can sometimes have that heavy kick beats. Like it's not soft, it's quite the opposite. It can be quite hard, but that cathartic release that we all need. Sometimes we need to be laying down and just dissolve into nothingness. Sometimes we need to be physical and like really bouncing and moving our body to shake out that whatever we need to shake out, that energy, that stress, whatever. So they're kind of cool because they offer something completely, like one's restorative and one's energizing, I would say. One, like the meditation is to restore, to heal, to kind of ground. The dance is to kind of let it out, to energize, to sort of outward explosion of joy.
Yes, yes.
That's how I describe that.
No, I love that. You want to talk about the somatic experience, and I think that somatic contrast is really valuable, and we need both, right?
Yeah,
Hello,
absolutely.
even if you're the Dalai Lama, you still have to laugh once in a while, right?
Well, he's
He
good at
laughs
that.
so beautifully.
I
Yeah,
know.
I don't. I have never seen him dance.
I'm sure he's great too. I'm sure he has a nice, carefree, playful attitude with dance. I'm sure.
Yes, yes. You hit on the word that I wanted to sort of accentuate, which is play.
Yeah.
It seems like the ability to interact with other people in the dance environment is really key to what you take away from that. You know, uh, I guess you could do like a community psychedelic trip, the way Sanctuary does, and then you could all get together and talk about it later. But that's much more of an individual thing, the way that a guided meditation, sound healing experience might be, versus the togetherness of the dance environment.
Yeah. I always want to recreate. For me, it's kind of like recreating a house party. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always just loved throwing house parties back in the day and connecting people that I really love, and seeing new people connect, and new groups form and new communities form. And I always want my events to feel that way, no matter how big they ever get. And I think that's another reason why there's so many great events out there. So the ones where there's no crowd engagement can still be amazing. But for me, that's just part of what I really want to do, is bring in the crowd engagement, because I always find it just adds a little more when people can feel like they got involved, and when they weren't just there witnessing it, they were there participating as well. And I think that difference really makes a level of impact. And I think I hope the intention for me is to encourage people to do more of those things in general too. So it's just to dance more, to sing more, to express yourself more, and you can practice that at my show. But then hopefully you can maybe leave feeling like, damn, that was kind of addictive, you know.
Yeah, I could do this. I could do
I could do
this.
this more often, maybe, you know.
I'm so fascinated by this, Chris, because they lead this public sing along, right? And generally speaking, everybody that's there is an introvert. And we're all just sort of like locked up. And then the music starts and everything goes wild for an hour and a half. And then it's over. And there's this moment of euphoria that may last 5 minutes before everybody just sort of retreats into their shell again.
So
And
they're
I'm not saying that to be critical because I'm doing it too,
oh my
right?
God. Oh yeah.
And but we need to be able to come alive. Is the point here? It's that we need vehicles that bring us alive.
Yes.
And to do that safely because until you're alive in that way that we all can be, whatever brings you there, whatever it is, right? Um, we haven't really reached our full potential, you know?
Yeah.
And being able to come alive like that, I'm terrible at dance, but I leaned into it and I actually learned to tango. And it's like, it was hard, but I
Yeah.
get it now. I have a different understanding of what it means to dance than I did before I leaned in.
Right.
And it's everything that you've said. It's everything that you've said. Whether you're doing a form dance or choreography or completely freestyle, doing that together, instead of just isolated on your mat, seems to me to be some way that we need right now, maybe to learn to connect as human beings again.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a lot of us forgot how to do that connection thing. And I think musicians, at least, are pretty actors, artists, actors and musicians, I would say, might be at the top, though, with people that are pretty good with interacting with people, even if they're introverted. There's a lot of introverted actors.
Right, right. Because we pretend that we can do it.
Yeah, but we're good at pretending. But more so, I mean, we're very empathetic and more sensitive, likely, as an artist, therefore a little bit more able to connect with people because we can kind of empathize, we can feel where everyone's coming from, and we're usually pretty good at feeling the room, right? Where are people at right now? What are they wanting and needing from perhaps me as the artist and the performer right now? And that's a fun thing too, is to kind of recognize as the musician what we can really be doing. And when I was in Montreal recently at a workshop, they were just hammering this point home, which is like, your job really is to create an unforgettable experience.
Yes.
No
Yes.
pressure.
Yes. No
but
problem.
It is. It's you're there to create an unforgettable experience that people can walk away and just be like, wow, that was awesome. Like just that feeling of wow. And then if you can deliver that, if you can create that, and I think all of us can, as long as we're tapping into what really drives us the most, whatever our truest expression is as us as an artist, which is all individual, whatever that is, pursue it. That's likely what's going to be that, amazing experience for other people. So there you go.
Yeah. It's way beyond do what you love. It's the following of your bliss, I think you're talking about right now, is really learning what it is that lights you up. And you can't do that in isolation. You've got to go out, you've got to be the pinball and bang against the bumpers a few times until you get it down, right? And then you can become Chris Noble.
Yeah. And Chris Noble has to go and do the same thing too and hit the pinball, make a bunch of mistakes and figure that out too.
Exactly. Because that's, the fun part for us. At some point you realize that it's a lot of fun to go out on a limb that way, without a whole lot of knowledge of what's going to happen, just this loose framework, and then watch the magic happen, come alive.
It's that adage of if you build it, they will come. And it's such a cliche, but it's true. Like I really put everything into that show. And then afterwards, all these things started to come through and you're like, there it is.
There it is.
These manifestations will not happen until you go and do the thing first, do it first, then you will magnetize other people, opportunities, etc. And remembering or relearning that right now.
What is that whole thing? You can't get what you won't give.
Right.
That whole thing. Yeah. Which is amazing as musicians because, not only do we have to give something, it's got to be good.
Yeah. And you can be doing it for a while before it clicks,
Take
right?
practice, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're speaking of practice and all of that. Just want to wish you well on your tour. As we're
Thank
recording this at the end of July, Chris is headed out in August of 24 for a multi-state tour. You're coming south.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
United States, or
I know.
somewhat United States.
Well, I'm so lucky. I'm performing with my friend Tennyson King in Canada, West Coast Canada, and then coming down for some DJ opportunities among some other fun things down in Phoenix and Austin. So yeah, really excited. And I haven't been to the States in quite a few years, so I miss you guys. I miss that energy down there.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to
Come
come
on
back.
down.
Oh yeah,
Come on down.
mom down.
Thanks everybody for listening, tuning in. We're keeping it short because I know Chris is in a hurry to get off on tour here and dance the night away.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you, Bill. And you've got a great month coming up too. So all the best to you in your magical performances, which
Thank you.
might hint at on the next episode as we were recording to today. So thanks everyone for tuning in. And yeah, absolutely. It's been such a pleasure talking about all this. And we will catch you in the next episode of Discussions of Music, Healing, and Consciousness.
Aho.
Aho.